Hey, there's a white thing up there. It's been there for a long time.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most notable and controversial videos and photos of unidentified aerial phenomena.
Maybe there's some other stuff out there.
Number 30, the Bakersfield Blue Light. In 2015, residents of a Bakersfield, California neighborhood concurred that there was a mysterious blue light in the sky.
I was taking the recycling out to the trash can, and I was walking back, and I saw like this blue light in the sky, and I was like, that's kind of bright to be a star.
Not only that, but the light was moving, as shown in footage that one of the residents caught. In fact, the neighbors claimed to have seen the blue light before. The flash, along with the movement of the object, is certainly eye-catching.
It pretty much flew, stopped, and then started doing some upward motion and downward motion.
It's no wonder the residents thought something out of the ordinary was transpiring above them. While the country's senior deputy offered a possible explanation, witnesses shot it down.
We are in the age of drones now. Obviously we have military drones, but there are civilian drones and drones for purchase. So, that is a possibility.
It looked way too high up in the sky to be a drone.
Whatever it was hard to explain, and it left local residents mystified. Number 29, streaks in the Australian skies. Two shining streaks in Queensland, Australia left onlookers perplexed.
What the hell is it?
Reportedly, hundreds saw this aerial oddity in 2021. The order and unison in which they moved across the sky was certainly noticeable. Not only that, but take a look at the light that seemingly blinks when the camera zooms in. You can tell by the voices in the background that they could not believe what they were seeing.
Hundreds report seeing these streaking objects, and some suspect they are somehow connected to a secret base almost 1,000 miles away.
At first glance, meteors may seem like a viable explanation, but expert analysis suggests they weren't moving fast enough to be meteors. So could it have been a UFO? Well, nothing is certain, but an astronomer suggests it was most likely space debris from a Chinese rocket.
The lightweight materials burn up and fall away first, and the heavy materials like the engines, those continue for quite some time.
Nonetheless, what an unexpected and unusual thing to see. Number 28, the baseball manager incident. Nick Mariana, a baseball coach in Great Falls, Montana, was doing a pregame stroll around the ballpark when he saw two spinning silvery objects moving speedily through the sky.
They appeared to be moving directly south.
So he filmed it, creating what is generally considered one of the earliest videos of a supposed UFO. It was 1950. What followed were disputable explanations, controversy about missing film frames, a lawsuit filed against a UFO skeptic, and extensive video analysis. Mariana's footage was also shown in the 1956 film UFO, in which he detailed his experience in an interview.
I asked my secretary if she saw anything, and she said yes, two silvery spheres.
All these years later, what Mariana really filmed that day remains a debate. The Great Falls minor league baseball team was renamed the Voyagers in honor of the historic UFO incident. Number 27, leaked classified government footage. People have their preconceptions of what the shape of a typical UFO is. A 2009 infrared video caught by a U.S. Department of Homeland Security agent, though, opened eyes to another possibility.
Its odd shape has an uncanny resemblance to everyone's favorite bath toy.
The rubber duck UFO footage was not supposed to be released to the public, but it was. So what really was that bizarre object flying near the U.S.-Mexico border? The footage puzzled experts in the analysis of unidentified aerial phenomena. A drone was ruled out as an explanation.
If this is a quadcopter drone, we should see those rotors spinning. We never see that.
One science writer and forensic video analyst hypothesized it was balloons.
One possibility is this rubber duck shape is actually a bunch of balloons, where some of them are at the bottom of the body, and then the upper one is the head.
The History Channel series The Proof Is Out There deemed it a genuine UFO due to a lack of substantiated identification. Number 26, pilots' footage in Colombia. Soaring through the skies over Colombia at about 30,000 feet in altitude, a pilot was engrossed by something else in the sky. It wasn't just another plane.
A metallic-looking object, a polyhedron of some sort, whizzes by in a straight line.
His video, filmed in 2020, appears to show a metallic cube-like object moving above the clouds. The zoom in on the potentially unearthly object provides a better view of what was going on. If not a plane, missile, or drone, maybe it was a solar balloon?
They rise as the air inside warms and expands.
That explanation isn't likely either, apparently. Thus, could it be deemed a UFO? The History Channel series The Proof Is Out There reached their verdict.
Process of elimination, we'll go with genuine UFO.
Number 25, the Bracknell Pub Incident. A man named Steve Lambert was outside a pub in Bracknell, England, making a phone call when he saw what appeared to be two glowing discs in the sky.
Look up in the sky!
Who would blame him if he dropped his phone in awe at that point? Instead, he quickly captured this photo. Perhaps after Lambert took the photo, it was a good time to go back inside the pub to have a beer and contemplate what just happened.
Drinking beer pubs.
Lambert claimed the objects moved faster than any normal aircraft. Nick Pope, a former employee at the British government's Ministry of Defense, investigated UFO phenomena during his tenure. After seeing this photo, he called it, quote, one of the best UFO photos he'd seen. Number 24, the Orange County highway workers' photographs. It would certainly warrant pulling the car over if you saw what Rex Heflin did near Santa Ana, California in 1965.
I first observed it out the left window of the cab, and I thought it was a conventional aircraft at the time.
Working as a highway maintenance engineer, Heflin was out checking for any obscured traffic signs when a strange object in the sky came into his line of vision. He had a Polaroid camera with him to capture the aerial anomaly.
I think they're remarkable photographs, not because I took them, but because what they portray and show.
When questioned, a local Marine base denied any known involvement with experimental aircraft. Heflin later explained having the original photos taken from him. His photos gained widespread publicity around the world and were considered, quote, probably genuine by a highly respected physicist and ufologist at the time. Ever since, many people have come to view what Heflin photographed as a legit UFO.
Have you seen any other UFOs since?
No.
Number 23, the El Yeso Reservoir family picnic incident. In 2010, a mother was out with her family enjoying the day at the El Yeso Reservoir located within the Andes Mountains of Chile. Why not take some photos?
One of the photos shows the sun shining in the middle of bright white clouds. Above it, to the left, is a band of reddish clouds.
Little did she know at the time, she may have just photographed a UFO. After returning home and reviewing the pictures, she realized the irregular nature of what she had captured. One particular photo appears to display a strange saucer-shaped object nestled within reddish clouds. Look closer, it blends in. The Chilean government examined it and then sent it to the National Aviation Reporting Center on Anomalous Phenomena, also known as NARCAP. Ted Rowe, the program's executive director, analyzed the picture and ultimately deemed the object an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
This study resolves that this is in fact an external anomaly.
Number 22, glowing orbs around Mexico's El Popo volcano. A webcam in Mexico City caught something rather unusual near El Popo volcano in 2017. In this instance, a bright orb was seen ascending in the sky.
But look closely. The light flies closer and closer to the camera, when suddenly it explodes into a glowing orb and climbs up into the atmosphere.
The video was explained as most likely being landing lights from a plane. But what about this video near El Popo where there are multiple glowing orbs? Now that's harder to explain.
My first thought was, what is happening here?
In the series The Proof Is Out There, an astronomer and video effects designer examined the video and struggled to come up with a plausible explanation. If there really is no satisfactory explanation, these orbs could justifiably be classified as unidentified aerial phenomena.
If they're real, they're acting unlike anything I've seen.
Number 21, Navy pilot's cell phone footage. Since 2020, the U.S. government has taken steps toward increased transparency regarding unidentified aerial phenomena investigations.
It's reflective in this video, somewhat reflective, and it quickly passes by the cockpit of the aircraft.
During a congressional hearing, a Navy pilot's 2021 video of a potential UFO was brought up. It was inexplicable. Shortly before the video was filmed, the pilot was informed of a seemingly bizarre object.
Muy buena presentación. ¿Crees que podrías hacerla en inglés?
Yes.
Nearby.
This object appears to be flying at Mach speeds without any visible means of propulsion.
So he scanned his surroundings and then captured video of a rapidly moving object without visible means of propulsion. An aviation expert appearing on the History Channel's The Proof Is Out There series struggled to classify it as an earthly object. What that object really was is up in the air.
It's definitely unknown, and so it's really intriguing.
Number 20, the Hebei incident. Set against the backdrop of Tianjin, Hebei Province, China, this photo can be traced back to at least 1942, although some argue it was actually snapped in 1911. Either way, Japanese student Masujiro Kiru stumbled upon it in his father's photo album during World War II. The photo was reportedly taken by an American serviceman with several onlookers gazing up at the flying saucer-like object above. Of course, many have argued that it was a bird, a streetlight, or even a hat. We guess you could say it's all up in the air. Number 19, the Belgian UFO wave. In late November 1989, Belgium started receiving numerous reports of a UFO. Various people described the UFO as a giant triangle with a flat surface and lights below, and the reports kept coming well into early 1990, reaching a crescendo in late March of that year. When a UFO was picked up on radar one night, 2 Air Force pilots investigated, coming up empty-handed. While they didn't see anything, 143 other individuals supposedly did. For over 20 years, ufological group SOBEP claimed the photo was authentic, but the photographer eventually revealed it was a hoax. Writer Marc Allais attributed the Belgian UFO wave to the media and SOBEP spreading misinformation, causing a mass delusion.
Indeed, there is something going on in Belgium which is beyond our control.
Number 18. Houston, we have a problem. In August 2014, social media was bombarded with photos of a UFO hovering over Houston, Texas. Taken from different spots around the area, the UFO seemingly consisted of several lights forming a ring. At the center, you can make out a single orb, as if the other circular lights are revolving around it. The UFO almost shares a resemblance to Saturn, although some experts have theorized there's nothing otherworldly about it. Fletcher Gray of the Mutual UFO Network deduced it likely stemmed from nearby highway lights. It's also worth noting that Houston endured a thunder and lightning storm that night, which may have contributed. Still, how fitting would it be if alien life visited Space City? Number 17, the Kumburgaz UFO video. In 2007, a Turkish night guard named Yalçın Yalman, working in Istanbul's holiday village, noticed strange activity in the sky and started filming. He kept his eyes on the skies throughout the next few years, recording a treasure trove of UFO footage. The UFO that repeatedly pops up in these videos certainly looks like a spacecraft, even calling to mind the ones from War of the Worlds. Upon further inspection, some claim that you can spot 2 alien heads peeping out of what appears to be a window or a door. Our eyes may be deceiving us, but ufologist Nick Pope described Yalman's findings as, quote, a turning point for Turkish UFO studies, adding, quote, the authorities can no longer turn a blind eye to this phenomenon. Number 16, New Mexico, 1957. Ever since the Roswell UFO incident in 1947, New Mexico has been a hotspot for alleged alien activity. Almost 10 years after the historic sighting, New Mexico local Ella Louise Fortune had another close encounter of sorts. Cruising down Highway 54 on October 16, 1957, the nurse took a photo of a bright white flying disc. The UFO reportedly hovered around the Holloman Air Development Center for 15 minutes. That said, the fact this occurred near an Air Force base might provide a logical explanation. Even after the Aerial Phenomena Research Organization studied the imagery, though, nobody could come up with a conclusive answer. Number 15, the Lubbock Lights. In August 1951, 3 Texas Technological College professors noticed somewhere between 20 and 30 lights shimmering in the sky. 5 days later, Texas Tech freshman Carl Hart Jr. gazed out his bedroom window to find a cluster of lights forming a V-shape. Hart managed to take 5 photos of the lights, getting them published in various newspapers and Life magazine. This caught the attention of the Air Force, which launched an investigation. At first, they believed the Lubbock Lights were really plovers. The Air Force eventually announced that it wasn't a bird or a spaceship, but a, quote, easily explainable natural phenomenon, without unveiling what the phenomenon actually was. Well, that's not suspicious at all. Number 14, Salem, Massachusetts, 1952. As if being the site of infamous witch trials wasn't bad enough, Salem was also invaded by aliens at one point. Okay, maybe we're exaggerating just a tad, but this was definitely a weird occurrence. On August 3, 1952, a U.S. Coast Guard looked outside a lab to find 4 large, vibrant lights up above. The 21-year-old guard snapped a photo through a window, and people have been making calculated guesses as to the exact nature of these objects ever since. Flying saucers? A witch's spell? Lamplights? In any case, Salem just got even eerier. Number 13, ISS Lightbeam. In 2016, a video surfaced on YouTube from NASA's live feed of the International Space Station, seemingly showing an object making atmospheric entry. The feed was then suspiciously cut off, although NASA claims that this was due to technical difficulties and the object was likely debris or lights from Earth. However, a subsequent video from the same feed showed what appeared to be a
Oh.
Similar object departing Earth, followed by a bright golden beam of light.
Is this a UFO leaving the Earth, making the jump to hyperspace? These are real images from the International Space Station's live feed. They show a spherical object leaving the vicinity of the Earth and traveling upwards. As the object disappears, a beam of light shoots out.
This wouldn't be the last time that conspiracy theorists gravitated towards the ISS. In 2020, the feed captured another object moving over Earth. It was later reported that this was a retired communications component being jettisoned, although we're definitely keeping a close watch on the ISS.
We discard of our trash and equipment that's been put through its paces and is now retired.
Number 12, the STS-48 incident.
Tony, what can you tell us about this last-minute delay and what's happening right now?
Launched on September 12, 1991, the STS-48 mission's goal was to deploy satellites from the Space Shuttle Discovery.
This scene shows the actual release of URs with the mechanical arm. The arm is being backed away from the spacecraft.
In UFO circles, though, the mission is best remembered for footage captured on September 15th. While not easy to make out, the video shows objects zooming by and bright lights flashing in Earth's orbit. According to NASA, these were ice particles responding to the engine jets. Astronomer Phil Plait has backed up these claims, but we gotta admit, the believer in us likes to wonder. It's not the only space shuttle mission to have caught ufologists' eyes. In 1996, footage from STS-75 seemed to show objects buzzing around the broken tether of a drifting satellite. Debris or curious visitors? Number 11, the Kaikauta Lights. It's only fitting that the Kaikauta Lights surfaced the year after Star Wars and Close Encounters of the Third Kind hit theaters. New Zealand's Kaikauta mountain ranges caught the media's attention on December 21, 1978, when a cargo plane crew observed house-sized lights flashing around the aircraft for several minutes.
Thousands of UFO documents have been released by the New Zealand Air Force. The documents released under Freedom of Information laws cover sightings dating back to 1954.
Air traffic control specialists from Wellington tracked the lights, which an Australian television crew then recorded in color. The TV crew came along for the cargo plane's next flight from Wellington back to Christchurch. Shortly after takeoff, the crew captured footage of a giant illuminated orb. New Zealand's Ministry of Defense has provided several possible explanations, including lights from boats, cars, or Venus. But alternative explanations abound.
Others say it could have been an unusually bright sighting of Venus or merely radio and light wave transmissions. But for those who believe, even the publication of such sightings is a breakthrough.
Number 10, the Black Knight Satellite. The Black Knight Satellite remains one of the most famous conspiracy theories in UFO circles. It's said that this mysterious satellite has been orbiting Earth for 13,000 years. In 1954, UFO investigator Donald Keyhoe claimed that the Air Force had discovered 2 artificial satellites, despite the fact that such technology did not exist at the time. It would be another 3 years until we launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik. Regardless, various newspapers like the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and San Francisco Examiner picked up the story. The Black Knight regained interest in 1998 when NASA released this photo from the STS-88 mission. While most would agree it was space debris, others are not letting go of their Black Knight theory. Number 9, the Phoenix Lights. The Phoenix Lights have inspired a documentary and multiple horror movies, but nobody can say for sure what happened on March 13, 1997.
In 1997, you took part in one of the largest military cover-ups in United States history.
That's correct.
This incident can be broken into 2 phases. First, a V-shaped formation was seen flying over Phoenix, although little footage exists of this event, and the footage we do have is low quality. There's more documentation of the second event, which saw 5 circular lights floating in the night sky.
There were many events, starting at 3 p.m. in the afternoon and continuing all the way until 5:30 the next morning.
Even with numerous photographs, videos, and eyewitness accounts, though, a giant question mark continues to hover over Phoenix. While the U.S. Air Force chalked the lights up to military flares, many have argued against these claims, and even Arizona Governor Fife Symington described what he saw as, quote, otherworldly.
Well, I saw a huge craft just kind of
come right over Squaw Peak. That was, it was just breathtaking.
Number 8, the Chilean Navy.
The Chilean government agency which investigates UFOs or unidentified aerial phenomenon has declassified and released never-before-seen video from 2014 showing a mysterious flying object of which they suggest could have been a UFO.
A little speck can certainly stir up a lot of speculation. In 2017, the Chilean government agency tasked with examining UFO sightings released footage of a flying object that defied explanation. The footage, which had been classified for almost 3 years, was taken by the Chilean Navy from a helicopter during the day. The pilot failed to make contact with the object, which moved like another helicopter. Even more curious, the object didn't pop up on air traffic control radar.
In 2 instances, the object ejected some type of gas or liquid with high thermal tracking. Captured on video, you can see a massive plume of material trailing behind the object.
Most mysterious of all, the UFO released an unknown substance and vanished into the sky. Experts were stumped, with the agency's director saying, quote, "We do not know what it was, but we do not know what it was not." Well, that's reassuring.
After an extensive study, the Committee for the Study of Anomalous Aerial Phenomena agreed it had all the characteristics to be classified as an unidentified aerial phenomenon.
Number 7, the Battle of Los Angeles. This incident took place in February of 1942, 3 months after the Japanese bombing of Pearl Harbor. Receiving word of another possible attack, air raid sirens went off around Los Angeles County and the area endured a blackout. Throughout the night, 1,400 shells were fired into the air. 5 people died as a result, and property damage was significant. Although it reportedly turned out to be a false alarm, the LA Times published a photo of the air raid with searchlights directed at what looked like a spaceship. While the photo was touched up, this didn't stop ufologists from holding it up as evidence. The theory even inspired the 2011 film Battle Los Angeles.
It appears that there's something like shadowy figures. I think I'm gonna head back now. Everyone needs to get out of here right now. Lucas, if you could just come back, please. Oh my God.
Number 6, Mexican Air Force video. On March 5, 2004, the Mexican Air Force recorded footage of 11 UFOs at 11,500 feet above southern Campeche state. Surrounding a military jet, these lights were detected during a routine search for drug traffickers. Jets pursued the UFOs, but eventually gave up and the objects disappeared. While some believe this was the work of flares, explanations also range from ball lightning to a meteorite deteriorating in Earth's atmosphere. Whatever these objects were, infrared equipment operator Lieutenant Mario Adrian Vasquez is convinced that they were, quote, completely real. Pilot Major Magdaleno Castañón went so far as to suggest that the UFOs knew they were being pursued. Number 5, the Aguadilla Airport incident.
I don't believe in you in my life.
Even by UFO standards, this one's perplexing. It all started in April 2013 at the Rafael Hernandez Airport, located in Aguadilla, Puerto Rico. A video was taken of an unknown object swiftly flying over land and then seeming to submerge underwater. After doing so multiple times, the object appears to split in 2. Supposedly, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security tried to keep this under wraps, but the video was eventually leaked by an anonymous whistleblower. A group known as the Scientific Coalition for Ufology was responsible for posting the footage online. According to the SCU website, it, quote, exhibits characteristics that cannot be explained by any known aircraft or natural phenomenon. Number 4, the McMinnville UFO photographs. In 1950, Evelyn Trent noticed an ominous object levitating around her family's farm in McMinnville, Oregon. She alerted her husband Paul, who took a couple of photographs before the UFO departed west. In another account they gave, Evelyn and Paul both saw the UFO at the same time in their backyard. Either way, the farming couple's pictures eventually made their way into Life magazine and other publications, igniting one of the most heated debates in UFO history. Physicist Bruce Maccabee believes that the UFO in the photos was, quote, real and, quote, physical. Non-believers like Philip J. Klass and Robert Schaefer, meanwhile, say the photos were faked. The Condon Committee's investigation fell somewhere in between. Whatever you think, few UFO sightings have inspired this much analysis. Number 3, go fast. Our top 3 UFO sightings are actually part of a package, although each has a distinctive signature.
Pentagon has now declassified 3 videos showing Navy fighter pilots interacting with unidentified flying objects. Watch.
Filmed by the U.S. Navy and published online in the late 2010s, they were declassified and officially released by the Pentagon in 2020. Released under the file name Go Fast, This video was taken over the East Coast in January 2015 by an FA-18F Super Hornet during the USS Theodore Roosevelt UFO incidents. The footage was captured using Raytheon's Advanced Targeting Forward-Looking Infrared Pod, or AT-FLIR. And just as entertaining as the footage itself is the fighter pilot's comments. While the audio is somewhat hard to understand, you can certainly grasp the astonishment they experienced while watching the object.
Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly!
Number 2, FLIR 1.
It's a clear blue sky, there's no wind, and you see this tic-tac, it's just this white object that's randomly moving around. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up a little bit.
Also released by the Pentagon, FLIR 1 was filmed on November 14, 2004, around the San Diego coastline. Like Go Fast, this video was also taken aboard a Super Hornet using AT-FLIR. The footage was captured during the USS Nimitz UFO incident, in which the Navy had a radar visual encounter. The video centers on a dark round object that suddenly moves slightly to the left. After lingering a little while longer, the object quickly darts even further until it's completely out of sight. Commander David Fravor can't tell you exactly what the object was, but he recalls that it, quote, accelerated like nothing he'd ever seen.
There's no propulsion, there's no wings. It rapidly accelerates and disappears, like poof, gone. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. I chased a UFO.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Gimbal. Rounding out this trio of UFO videos is Gimbal, which the Navy captured the same year as Go Fast.
My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west.
Often getting mixed up with the USS Nimitz UFO incident, this sighting actually took place aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt by the coast of Florida. Out of the 3 videos, the object in Gimbal arguably looks the most like a flying saucer. Before you jump to any conclusions, skeptical investigator Mick West has called all 3 of these sightings into question, believing the Gimbal object is just a plane.
Well, if there's like a thing, it's rotating.
Honestly, the world may never know. If you think this is all of the UFO information that the US government's been sitting on, former Senator Harry Reid claims that it, quote, only scratches the surface.
Because I don't think no one has the answers. And that is too bad because there are answers out there. But we're not going to get answers just by hoping they come. It can have to take some work.
Let us know which of these UFO videos or photos is most intriguing to you. Did you enjoy this video? Check
If you use a chat tool at work, pay attention because this is for you. ClickUp Chat is reinventing the game.
19. The Belgian UFO Wave. Keep watching the stars. Something is bound to happen eventually. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 UFOs caught on camera. For this list, we're looking at the most discussed and debated videos and photos of unidentified flying objects. Some have since been explained, but many remain the subject of debate. Number 20, the Hebei incident. Set against the backdrop of Tianjin, Hebei Province, China, this photo can be traced back to at least 1942, although some argue it was actually snapped in 1911. Either way, Japanese student Masujiro Kiru stumbled upon it in his father's photo album during World War II. The photo was reportedly taken by an American serviceman, with several onlookers gazing up at the flying saucer-like object above. Of course, many have argued that it was a bird, a streetlight,
cruiser.
The human fascination with unidentified flying objects has grown and grown over the last 100 years or so.
And the idea that Earth may be visited by creatures not of this world has fueled many an imagination and given basis for countless sci-fi films and stories. But every so often, a real-world incident takes place that truly defies all expectation and understanding. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're exploring the incredible UFO stories that the government can't explain. In recent times, the U.S. government has made headlines all over the world as it continues to release details of freshly declassified UFO documents. With the content of some of these documents dating back decades, we're beginning to build a clearer picture than ever before of how significantly UFOs have impacted human history, how often they've cropped up, and how often they've stumped the authorities. Because while some examples can be quickly explained away as a trick of the light, or dare we say it, as a weather balloon, there are others that still can't be so conveniently solved. In this video, we take a closer look at what's going on. The conversation around UFOs truly started to take off in recent times around the year 2017. This was thanks to work carried out by the New York Times with regard to confirmed UFO clips and to the early work of the To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, amongst others. To the Stars was founded in 2017 with an immediately high profile thanks to one of its co-founders being Tom DeLonge, a member of the US punk band Blink-182. In December 2017, though, it released startling, previously classified UFO footage. The gimbal clip, for example, shows a UFO as seen from an FA-18 Super Hornet jet. It's flying into the wind at impossible speeds, and the audio reveals how the pilots could find no explanation for what they were seeing. It should have been impossible, but it was happening right in front of their eyes. The clip was then included in an official release by the Pentagon in April 2020, as the US government declassified it plus 2 more UFO films in a bid to clear up any misconceptions and to confirm that they were genuine. Of the other clips, one earned particularly close attention as it showed an object racing over the sea, again at seemingly impossible speeds. What arguably sets these UFOs apart from most others, however, is that upon declassifying the footage, the Pentagon didn't offer much by way of an explanation. In the old days, conspiracy theorists might have at least expected a bungled cover-up attempt by the authorities, but not anymore. Instead, these amazing visuals had been officially recognized by the American government with the caveat that no one could satisfactorily describe what it was they showed. Importantly, a UFO isn't automatically an alien spaceship. The two aren't one and the same, and the government has been keen to stress this over and over in recent times. Thanks to science fiction and ingrained UFO lore, whenever we see something in the sky that doesn't make sense, one of our first thoughts is that it must be extraterrestrial in nature. But actually, the government itself is perhaps most interested in these clips from a national security point of view. When unexpected things show up on radar systems, sonar maps, and even outside of fighter jet windows, the first concern is that it's a threat in some way. The second concern is that even if it isn't a threat, it's advanced technology that the US hasn't seen before. And that's a worry as well for a country that's striving to remain a global superpower. If, for example, one of the declassified UFOs from 2020 turned out to be just a drone, then who on Earth has a drone with those capabilities? And how on Earth does a drone like that even work? Former President Barack Obama made headlines in May 2021 when he was interviewed about UFOs by the talk show host James Corden. Obama opened by admitting that there were some things that he just couldn't tell us on air. But he did say that there wasn't a top-secret alien research lab in the U.S., thereby denying the various Area 51 claims that many conspiracy theorists swear by. On UFOs in particular, however, Obama revealed that there was footage of, quote,
¿Y si probamos a ver la versión original?
Por mí bien. Con mi preparación en Preply, yo ya tengo un inglés pro.
Objects in the skies and that we don't know exactly what they are, end quote. Saying that their movements and trajectories couldn't be explained and that they, quote, did not have an easily explainable pattern. The 3 UFOs featured in the clips released in 2020 would certainly fall into this category. But there have been others as well. Between the years of 2007 and 2012, during the Bush and Obama administrations, the U.S. government ran a then-secret but now not-so-secret investigation, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, or ATIP. It was broadly tasked with getting a greater understanding of unidentified flying objects, or UFOs, and unidentified aerial phenomena, or UAP. Today, the UAP acronym is increasingly used in government documents in favor of UFO. The idea once again being to widen what we might consider something strange in the sky to be. The official message remains that a UAP isn't automatically an alien, that there could be a number of explanations, as well as it potentially being an alien, for what we're seeing. Nevertheless, by the time the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program was closed, it had amassed a wealth of data. Data that's only now beginning to be revealed to us. The Pentagon has increasingly responded to calls from the public for the government to reveal what they know. So much so that the current climate might reasonably be compared to the...
En la app de coches.net encuentra tu nuevo coche fácil, rápido y con la confianza que necesitas. Coches.net, tu siguiente movimiento.
Its dark color makes it difficult to identify, almost as if it was meant to be camouflaged.
UFOs, or UAP, are kind of a big deal right now, but in amongst all the attention-grabbing headlines and possibly questionable stories, every so often, even the big guns capture something really strange. And it doesn't get much bigger than NASA. Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for 5 times that NASA caught UFOs on camera. In some cases, these visuals have since been explained. In other cases, the mystery remains. But with every example, we want to know what you think. What's really happening with NASA's UFOs?
Neil switched to the medical channel and spoke directly with the chief medical officer, saying, they're here, they're parked on the side of the crater, they're watching us.
Number 5, the Lost Shield. One of the great things about NASA is that every so often it releases some footage that really makes you feel like you're up there yourself, in space, doing a spacewalk, being an astronaut. That was certainly the case in 2017, when a clip emerged of 2 astronauts from the International Space Station carrying out some routine maintenance. But wait, what's that in the background?
A strange object seems to be following. Look closer. It appears to be spinning slowly as if to get a better view.
The film is shot by NASA's Peggy Whitson, and partway through, we suddenly see a long, thin, rotating object situated between the camera and the Earth below.
It's visible in the background for almost the entire 7-hour spacewalk.
As always, perspective is difficult in the NASA feeds, but it appears to be very close by.
Social media blows up. Many speculate that this is proof of a UFO monitoring the ISS.
In this case, however, NASA quickly gave an answer to the mystery, explaining that what we're actually seeing is a shield that had accidentally been lost during the same spacewalk. Unlike some other cases, the feed wasn't cut, and the claims of a cover-up were short-lived. But that's not always how it happens. Number 4, Apollo 16's flying saucer. With Apollo 16 in 1972, NASA was embarking on what would become its 5th successful manned lunar landing. It saw the astronauts John Young and Charles Duke walk the moon, while Ken Mattingly remained in the command module in orbit.
Orlando, qué cosa más rica. Es que cuando lo estás probando te sube el picantito, pero muy gustosito.
The missions have really shifted over to a significant scientific emphasis here. We're really operating now with the lunar rover. We're extending further out.
As 16 began the return leg of its journey, however, it captured something seemingly remarkable. The images weren't noticed until the onboard film canisters were analyzed after the mission, and one brief sequence instantly caught the eye.
The images suggest Apollo 16 may not have been alone.
Apollo 16's cameras had snapped a large, circular, glowing orb in close proximity to the surface of the moon. The astronauts on board reported having seen nothing like it with their own eyes, but there it was in black and white.
Just about as close as you can get to the kind of flying saucer that you see in a Hollywood sci-fi movie.
And in fact, its appearance was a mystery that went unanswered for more than 30 years, until in 2004, tech innovations enabled fresh analysis. It was ultimately revealed that the seeming flying saucer was actually a floodlight jutting out from the Apollo module itself.
The new techniques reveal something unseen in previous images. A strut that appears to connect the flying saucer to the command module.
For alien hunters, it was so close, but so far. Number 3, STS-48 and the Light Show. In September 1991, NASA launched the Space Shuttle Discovery on a mission to deploy satellites high above the Earth.
And liftoff of the Space Shuttle Discovery and the Upper Atmosphere Research Satellite.
It all should have been fairly straightforward as far as space travel goes, but STS-48 is still remembered for the footage of apparent UFO.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 UFO sightings confirmed by the government.
There's enough obvious evidence here that we need to take this seriously, not downplay it.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most intriguing times that people reported seeing unidentified flying objects, verified by American government officials. Do you think aliens are behind any of these sightings? Let us know in the comments which occurrence seems the most extraterrestrial. Number 10. Roswell Incident. In the summer of 1947, rancher W.W. Brazel found mysterious debris on his New Mexico property. After he brought these materials to the authorities, the United States Air Force released a statement claiming that they had recovered a quote-unquote flying disc in Roswell. This description set off a resurgence of interest decades later in the 1970s, with conspiracy theorists claiming that the object had really been a crashed spaceship. It was now also claimed that extraterrestrial bodies had been found at the site.
Proof that the Roswell UFO incident was real. It's a picture of an alien-type creature, and they claim it was taken in 1947 in Roswell.
Authorities admitted in 1994 that the object had really been a top-secret nuclear test surveillance balloon. Some are still convinced, however, that the real explanation—
aliens? Or robots from the future, whatever. The point is they need to keep everyone in a blissful state of ignorance.
Number 9. Lubbock Lights.
My date and I saw these lights coming over the screen. It was just a formation of lights.
On a summer night in 1951, 3 professors from Texas Technological College were sitting outside when they saw something they couldn't explain.
Who were apparently impressed enough by having seen strange things in the sky to go out and try to observe them under scientific conditions.
Flying over Lubbock were circular blue-green lights arranged in a V formation. The lights reappeared again after the first sighting, and other people besides the professors spotted them. One witness, freshman Carl Hart Jr., even snapped a photo.
Grabbed my camera and set the exposure on where I wanted it and ran back outside and waited, and then 2 more flights came over. I think I got 2 pictures of one and 3 of the other.
But what was it? United States Air Force officer Edward J. Ruppelt, who investigated as part of Project Blue Book, concluded that it was an, quote, explainable natural phenomenon, end quote. He elaborated that a scientist had found the answer, but that he couldn't divulge it, as the scientist had requested anonymity. It was, at best, a frustratingly vague explanation.
Con mi súper el ahorro entra por la cocina. También con la carne fresca. Yo la compro aquí. ¡Qué pintaza! Es de origen España. Y con un ahorrico rico, rico. Por eso los consumidores lo elegimos como el súper número 1 en precio.
Lidl, marca la diferencia.
Yo necesito una gran página web. Claro, claro. Estoy de suerte. Tienda online para triunfar.
Crea tu página web con nuestra nueva inteligencia artificial. Ionos, tu solución digital.
Explanation. Number 8. Little Green Men. What do you think of when you hear the word alien? For many, it's a diminutive green humanoid with eyes too big for its head. That depiction was popularized by a sighting near Kelly and Hopkinsville in Kentucky.
3.5 foot tall. Big ears, big eyes, arms down to the ground, and it was floating atop the ground, legs not moving.
One summer evening in 1955, the Sutton family burst into the police station claiming that their farm was under siege by small aliens. They'd been shooting at them for hours through windows and door screens. The United States Air Force looked into the incident as part of Project Blue Book and concluded that it was a hoax. Some have theorized that the Suttons were shooting at owls. On the other hand, many ufologists are convinced the Suttons fought off an alien attack in Kentucky.
My family had a nice, quiet life. They loved the farm, they loved it out in the country, but that night changed everything for them. It was never going to be the same again.
Number 7. flying saucer. Just weeks before the Roswell incident in 1947, Private pilot Kenneth Arnold was flying his plane in Washington state when he witnessed a bright flashing light above Mount Rainier.
And the incident gains explosive nationwide news coverage. It's the first ever credible sighting of UFOs over the United States.
Arnold described what he saw as a diagonally arranged formation of objects that weaved and darted around like saucers skipping across the water.
At first, he thought maybe the speed was 1,200 miles per hour. But then later, it was calculated to be nearly 1,657 miles per hour.
This description is what coined the phrase flying saucer. There have been many theories attempting to explain what Arnold saw. Publicly, the Air Force declared the sighting to be a quote-unquote mirage.
The military did an investigation, and they simply dismissed the whole thing.
However, the Air Force and FBI continued to investigate, concluding that the saucers had been real and not due to natural phenomena. Eventually, this led to a larger investigation that evolved into the famous Project Blue Book. Number 6. Rendlesham Forest Incident. In December 1980, a security patrol at an airbase in Suffolk, England, witnessed glowing lights descending into Rendlesham Forest.
Strange lights are reported on the horizon in what appears to be a possible downed aircraft.
When servicemen tried to get a closer look, the object moved through the trees.
Radios failed as they approached the targeted area, and the air itself felt electrically charged as they closed in.
Deputy Base Commander Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt went on record claiming that the event was extraterrestrial and believed it was covered up. Today, the forest is home to a UFO trail and a monument shaped like the curious craft spotted there. The 2020 documentary Codename Rendlesham described it as a legend as mysterious as the Loch Ness Monster.
Looking directly overhead, one can see an opening in the trees plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like someone came off about 15 to 20 feet up.
Number 5. Leveland UFO Case. Remember this scene from Close Encounters of the Third Kind? After being enveloped by a strange light, Roy's car begins to experience strange malfunctions caused by an overhead UFO.
Oh, shit!
What you may not have known was that this moment was inspired by a real-life event that took place in Texas in 1957. Dozens of residents in the area claim to have had experiences similar to that in the film over the course of one evening.
Get out of there! What is that? I don't know what that is.
The U.S. Air Force investigated and concluded that the cause was an electrical storm or ball lightning. Ufologists contested whether there was a storm that night, claiming otherwise before a committee of the U.S. House of Representatives in 1968. Number 4. Spherical UFO. We can thank ufologist and filmmaker Jeremy Kenyon Lockyer Corbell for releasing this clip of a spherical craft. Allegedly, it was filmed in the Combat Information Center of the USS Omaha on July 15, 2019.
We got a lot of white water up there, so 6 foot swells. Whoa, it's getting close.
The UFO is seen flying through the air, then dips down into the water, proving that it can travel through various elements. By the end of the footage, the craft disappears into the ocean.
Just 40.
Whoa, splashed. Mark bearing and range.
The Pentagon confirmed that the footage was captured by the U.S. Navy. According to Corbell, a submarine search was conducted, but found nothing.
Do you think that we will see a release from the government that shows something conclusively?
There is more that could be shared, will be shared with Congress for certain. I don't see that coming to the public soon.
No.
Existe una receta sencilla para vivir a lo cubano. Aprovecha al máximo lo que tienes. Es una energía que nace en Cuba y fluye entre todas las generaciones. Y por el mundo entero. Havana Club. Cuban Mode.
Number 3. Triangular craft. Corbell has also released footage of a mysterious triangular craft filmed by U.S. Navy personnel. The night vision clip was filmed from the destroyer USS Russell in 2019 and leaked by Corbell in 2021.
In night vision video from a Navy destroyer, a mysterious flying triangle above the deck of the ship.
According to Corbell, the government's classified briefing states that the alleged crafts in the footage are not owned by the United States or a foreign military. In addition, the objects were behaving in unexpected ways. The Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force hasn't been able to determine what these crafts are.
And former intelligence chief John Ratcliffe says officials have been tracking technology beyond our capabilities.
The video has been confirmed as real by a Department of Defense spokesperson.
The Pentagon could declassify more sightings of what they can't explain.
Number 2. Gimbal and Go Fast. From 2014 to 2015, fighter pilots from the USS Theodore Roosevelt recorded incredible footage of UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, which is what the government prefers to call UFOs.
LNS though, is it? It's not. It is an LNS, dude. Well, if there's like anything, it's rotating.
The pilots sighted the mysterious objects off the east coast of the United States. The videos were leaked online and later confirmed as genuine by the Pentagon with their official release in 2020.
They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
You can hear from the excitement in the pilots' voices that they really believe they were seeing something incredible.
Oh, got it! Roger. There's troubleshooting.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1. FLIR. Off the coast of San Diego in 2004, Navy fighter pilot Commander David Fravor of the USS Nimitz carrier was asked to investigate radar indications of a potential target. Apparently, the missile cruiser USS Princeton had been monitoring an unusual object for 2 weeks. Fravor saw a white oval object hovering over the ocean. Another pilot recorded footage of the object, and the video, known as FLIR, was leaked to the media over a decade later with Go Fast and Gimbal.
Most of the more than 120 incidents over the past 2 decades are not from the U.S. military or other advanced U.S. government technology.
As is the case with those videos, the Pentagon has confirmed that the video is authentic, making it serious evidence when it comes to UFOs.
There's a lot of pressure by the global public and the American public, for answers.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be